John Maunder picking up his spot. Darrell Kime and Greg Cassidy have the, well, is it an honour? They have the task of leading this big pack into turn number 1. Have a look at the quality of that field. New South Wales champ Grenville Anderson. And away they go in the first round of the ISP Super Sedan Masters, charging into turn number 1. A couple of cars getting up very high on the track. Oh, John Leslight has run straight up the back end of Ron Pine, going into turn number 2. Coming out at the end of the first lap, Darrell Kime is the race leader. Greg Cassidy in second place. Paddy Ward running third. Robert Burke from Canberra is fourth, and here comes the New South Wales champ, Grenville Anderson, and Scott Blomqvist just biding his time at the moment behind John Maunder. Anderson's high up on the track. He's going round the outside of Maunder, and Blomqvist is really, oh, there's Alan Baker driving straight into the side of the Scott Blomqvist car, and Alan Baker's lost a lot of placings. Blomqvist trying to come through on the inside of Maunder at the moment, as our race leader Darrell Kime starts to pinch a bit of a break. Greg Cassidy running second. Paddy Ward is third. Now Grenville Anderson gets up on the outside of Robert Burke. Anderson comes powering out of turn 4. He's up on the outside looking for that drive. Now he's switched back down on the inside of Paddy Ward. And whilst we might have been hailing the prowess of Scott Blomqvist earlier, Blomqvist getting a little aggressive as they go down back straight away, and he's getting Maunder out of the road. Maunder bangs into the concrete wall, bounced off it into the side of Blomqvist. Darrell Kime pulling out of the race. The Commodore couldn't handle the pace. Too hot in the kitchen. Out goes Darrell Kime. Greg Cassidy goes to the lead in the race. Grenville Anderson getting up on the inside of Paddy Ward as they go into turn 1, and he goes up into second place. Paddy Ward running third, and now Scott Blomqvist slowly but surely starting to peg him back. Up into fourth place he goes. Now down on the inside of, oh, super pass on the inside. Paddy Ward's back to fourth place as we watch Scott Blomqvist chase out after Grenville Anderson. Greg Cassidy from Newcastle, the race leader, followed by the New South Wales champion Grenville Anderson from Lismore. Then the American driver Scott Blomqvist, and look at him now, start to settle into a pattern and really starting to work Grenville Anderson out. Down on the inside, Cassidy's got trouble, and both Grenville Anderson and Scott Blomqvist rocket past. How easy is it? I mean, you make one slight mistake, one little miss, and guys like Grenville Anderson and Scott Blomqvist show no mercy, and they just pounce on the lead. Anderson leads, but Scott Blomqvist is chasing him hard and strong. Blomqvist working away at him. It'll be interesting to see what sort of passing move he pulls. Gave Anderson a little bit of a bump there. Moved him over, hit the lead, all right. Scott Blomqvist out in front. He actually gave Grenville Anderson the Lismore shuffle. He got some of his own medicine. Anderson's back in second place. Well, Scott Blomqvist has picked off the lead after 10 laps. He came from position 7 on the grid. Grenville Anderson coming back at him in the slower cars. Come on, let's hear it for the Aussie boy. Grenville Anderson coming back at him. Well, certainly Grenville Anderson needs some cheering here because he's still chasing the American. The Aussie will not give in. Cheer him on as Grenville Anderson comes charging back toward the lead. Scott Blomqvist leads Grenville Anderson. Third place at the moment would be held by John Brown back in car 16. But I can't take my eyes off these front two cars. Scott Blomqvist and Grenville Anderson fighting it out. Brown Cassidy, I think, would still be in third place. Brown is fourth, Ron Pine is fifth, Alan Baker is sixth, Charlie Schwartz is seventh, and our defending ISP champ is back in 8th place at the moment. How can you try and watch this car race? You've got a tremendous battle going on between Scott Bloomquist and Grenville Anderson, and would you believe they're about to move up and lap a guy like John Leslight. And then we've got a great race going on for the minor placings that involves Greg Cassidy, John Brown, Ron Pine, Alan Baker, Charlie Schwartz. Trouble in turn 2, there's a pile-up. John Brown, Ron Pine, Alan Baker and Don McEwen and Charlie Schwartz all in that problem. And now a restart, 8 laps to go. Scott Bloomquist bounces to the lead. Grenville Anderson is going to drive up on the inside of him. No, Scott Bloomquist just hangs on. Scott Bloomquist the leader. Here comes Grenville Anderson driving up on the inside. He's lifting that front wheel. Grenville Anderson's got the foot popped right to the floor. He's out after Scott Bloomquist at the moment, and he's trying to give him a little bit of a lean too. Watch out for this one. Scott Bloomquist and Grenville Anderson. Oh, trouble for Anderson. He's had a steering snap, and so too did John Brown. I think the steering just snapped on the Grenville Anderson car. I think the steering went. He was making the drive up on the inside of Bloomquist, and I think actually the same thing happened with John Brown. He seemed to bounce through the corner and lose it altogether. Pop the tyre. The tyres come right off the Grenville Anderson car. What a shocking shame for Grenville Anderson to see him come out of the race like that. Stand by, the 2 Americans are up front. Are we going to have an American Quinella? Come on, the Aussies. Scott Bloomquist goes to the lead. Charlie Schwartz will just tuck in behind. John Leslight probably trying to impress selectors, and Don McEwen. There he is, Mr. ISP. He's out there still boxing on and boxing on. Leslight's gone. Leslight's out of the race. I think justice is done anyway. I don't think he should have been there. That's just my opinion. I've been wrong plenty of times before, but I'm not wrong about the 2 race leaders, Scott Bloomquist and Charlie Schwartz, the Americans. Who would have thought at the start of this night, when they had never been in these cars before under race condition, that they were going to be as serious a threat as they... Oh, look out, Ron Pine has driven straight over the top of Greg Cassidy. Cassidy's got a problem and is trying to get out of the race. Don McEwen gets up to 3rd. Cassidy going out of the race. He slowed right down, so in fairness to Ron Pine, had nothing to do with him, but only 3 laps away. Ah, look, I don't care whether you like Yanks or whether you don't, you do like to see top-class drivers, and we're seeing one here. Scott Bloomquist came to us with a big reputation, told us at the start of the night he came here to win, and look at him. Way out in front, Charlie Schwartz is 2nd, Don McEwen is 3rd, Ron Pine is in 4th place. 1 lap to go. The Flying Eagles are out in front. Scott Bloomquist, Charlie Schwartz, Don McEwen is holding down 3rd place. Ron Pine is 4th. Then John Leslight and Lenny Edwards. Checkered flag. Scott Bloomquist a big winner. Charlie Schwartz, his American teammate, 2nd. And the defending ISP champ, Don McEwen, is in 3rd place and will still pick himself up a bag full of points.